Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Rivera Yalan. I'm a teacher with Enseña-Peru, a climate and education activist, and founder of the NGO PAEDEA. First, I want to thank Esther and the Pan-African Climate Education Network for this generous invitation. It's an honor to share this space with you. And in the next 10 minutes, I will share a concrete example from the Peruvian Amazon that shows how education, when understood as a political and transformative act, can build climate resilience in underserved and often forgotten communities. Education as a political act, students leading the fight for a sustainable future. The problem. The problem I am addressing is the lack of school engagement with the social and environmental challenges that directly affect students and their communities. These issues are deeply rooted in a structural cause, the historic discrimination by the Peruvian state towards the Amazon region. Here are some examples. We can see a public school bathroom in the Peruvian Amazon, and here a classroom in the Peruvian Amazon. As a result of this discrimination, communities face consumption of contaminated water due to lack of clean water access, widespread environmental pollution, including rivers and soil, accelerated loss of animal species, many of them endemic, the presence of illegal mining, which destroys ecosystems and threatens public health, deforestation as a survival strategy, and under-resourced, non-contextualized education system, unable to prepare students to respond or lead change. Impacts. The impacts of the environmental crisis in the Amazon go beyond health and ecosystems. They directly threaten the possibility of receiving a dignified, relevant, and transformative education. Deforestation and climate change have caused rivers to dry up or become unpassable, isolating families from schools, healthcare, jobs, and food. The lack of basic services such as clean water, electricity, and internet interrupts learning processes and perpetuates exclusion. Biodiversity loss and illegal mining damage the environment and the health of students. But the deepest impact lies in the education system itself, which is disconnected from students' social and environmental realities. This kind of education fails to acknowledge their struggles, their knowledge, and their territory, producing passive citizens who don't see themselves as part of the solution. As a result, many young people feel hopeless and resigned in the face of injustice. Solution. There's no magical formula for educational transformation. But I think teachers are artists, creators of meaningful learning, and in my case, the solution has been to embrace the belief that education is a deeply political act. My approach focuses on inviting students to question the world they live in, understand its structural causes, and imagine ways to transform it. These are pictures I've taken in my class last year. This is the Peruvian Amazon. Promoting active citizenship, where learning means understanding rights, protecting the environment, and valuing one's culture. Grounding all learning in critical analysis of the student's social and environmental reality, using participatory methods, art, dialogue, and action. Highlighting student work. I helped create a democratic space where the voices of underage students were heard. Students who have long been victims of an education and state system that fails to prioritize or even see them. This was only possible thanks to their critical preparation and our collective analysis of the challenges faced by the Awahun people and the environmental crisis in the Amazon, their home. Students organized a protest art exhibition to voice their demands. They exposed the lack of internet, clean water, and state support. They invited decision makers who listened attentively and responded with real action. This collective action challenged traditional power dynamics. Students were no longer passive listeners, but active citizens being heard. Results. The results have been transformative both individually and collectively. Students become empowered. They now speak with confidence and critical awareness. They understand that the Constitution is a tool to claim their rights. And their voices lead to real concrete action. HughesNet is installed satellite internet in the community for free. The municipal manager visited the community to hear parents' demands. The head of the Natural Reserve delivered an environmental education session to our students. Students participate in a guided visit learn to the natural reserve and learning about local wildlife, the role of park rangers, and the legal value of protected areas. They also connected with university officials who listened and took their voices seriously. The municipality organized recycling campaigns through community cinema, collecting plastic bottles and cleaning up the village. The school has become a space for participation, advocacy, and collective solution building. A seed has been planted, one of active citizenship, territorial identity, and collective hope. So, finally, my vision. I believe in an education that is neither neutral nor silent in the face of injustice. An education that embraces its role as a political act capable of awakening awareness, building citizenship, and transforming realities. I envision schools across the world where teachers become facilitators of democratic spaces and students' voices are the driving force of change. And here's my call to action. To my fellow educators, never underestimate your power. Our role goes far beyond delivering content. We are here to open pathways for students to understand, question, and act. We must create spaces where students are truly heard, because no transformation is possible without the voices of those who need it most, our students. Let's educate with hope, justice, and action toward a better, sustainable future. Thank you very much.